The subject of our meditation for this week is the celebrated Pietà by Michelangelo Buonarroti. Michelangelo was born in 1475 and died in 1564, just short of his 89th birthday. Along with Leonardo da Vinci and Raphael, he was one of the supreme artists of the High Renaissance. So he was quite active about 5 centuries ago. He was trained and best known as a sculptor, but he did a good deal of painting. His painting on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel is probably his most famous accomplishment. He was also quite a significant architect, especially toward the end of his life. And those who don't know Italian may not realize that he was a very important poet as well. As a sculptor, the Pietà is his first masterpiece. It's amazingly early. He started it when he was 23 years old and finished it a year later. So it dates from 1498 to 1499. And just after that, he did his next most famous sculpture, the statue of David, which is 16 feet tall, and you probably know that image. That was done between 1501 and 1504. The word pietà is the Italian word for compassion or pity or mercy, and it is the traditional name for the depiction of Mary, the mother of Jesus, with the body of her crucified son. This particular version of it by Michelangelo is certainly the most well-known, and it is remarkable for the skill with which the young Michelangelo was able to render clothing and facial features and body features in marble. The design of the statue has some interesting features, maybe even some puzzling ones. For instance, why is Mary depicted so young? Well, most likely it's because Michelangelo thought that, following Catholic teaching, that she would not see corruption and old age, and that she would stay young-looking, so that even though her son is 33 years old, she still looks like she's about 20. Another thing is that there is so much drapery about this, and that may be partly to cover up the fact that he used a trick of dimensions. Mary and Jesus are not at the same scale. She is actually larger than he is, because he could tell that to put Jesus in the proper size compared to her, that there's no way that she could hold him in any kind of a graceful position. So Jesus is actually too small, or I guess you could say Mary is too big for Jesus, and the drapery covers up that fact a little bit. Another interesting characteristic of the sculpture is that it hardly looks like the result of a crucifixion, which is a brutal way of murdering a prisoner. Or you could say that it doesn't really show the signs of the passion. The holes in the nail holes in the feet and the hand look rather small. The wound in the side looks rather minor. Apparently, Michelangelo didn't want this to represent death, but more to represent a communion between God and man.